This is another impossibility with the official story. Paddock rents these 2 suites. One is like the master suite because those towers, they're kind of like these 3-pronged towers, and you can rent the suite that's at the end of the tower where you have like the 180-degree windows of the whole end of the tower, and he rents the one facing out towards this event. But he also rented, well, it's not exactly facing towards, it's like next to. Then he also rented the room right next door, and they're adjoining. And so there's a door that connects the two. And the official story is that the windows in both rooms were broken out, and that he was shooting through the one room with his bolt-action rifle to try to blow up the fuel tanks over at the airport, and he failed to do so. But he was in the other room shooting his bolt-action rifle, and then he was running back to the other room with his ARs and rapid-fire bump stocking with his bump stock that never jammed. That's the official story. But then the police get in there, and the side room is bolted from the other side. And he's the only one that's there. There's no one else in the rooms, apparently. And the way they say that is because his room was bolted from the inside. The side room, but the side room was also bolted, and they had to breach it with explosive breaching charges. And you can see it on camera. And so
he was magic, is what you're saying?
He was magic, right? Because you can't bolt your side room from the other side while you're in a mass shooting spree and then wind up in your room and shoot yourself in the head. You can't do it. And so there's all these little things that
physics intervenes.
Exactly. That physics and just reality intervenes once the evidence started to come out. And they've never really acknowledged any of that. That's all just kind
of never acknowledged it.
No. I mean, how could you? There's no acknowledging to be done. Yeah. And by the way, by then, Lombardo was busy being chief of police in Lahaina, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was at his next important job.
Where is he now?
I don't know. That's a good question. Someone should track him down and maybe move far away from him. But so that's the room, and just the room, just the footage of that, just that is enough to say it's all horse shit. And you have to go back to square one and start over with what actually did happen.
And no one who put out that story, no official in charge, either Clark County Sheriffs, LVMPD, FBI, no one has ever explained how Stephen Paddock could have locked himself out,
to my knowledge,
of his adjoining suite.
Yep. But they also don't explain how the locks appear to have been tampered with. There's a whole bunch of weird locks. So someone, I forget his name, I have him sourced in my notes. He got the door logs from the hotel. I don't know if he had a source at the hotel or something, but he got the official, because the Las Vegas surveils everything, and they have logs of the locks of every single room, of when it's closed, when it's open, whether it was open from the inside or the outside, the deadbolt status, and they have the time recorded and everything. And there's a shot heard by a witness earlier in the day at like 3:30 in the afternoon, which is kind of maybe related, but it's sort of a different story. But then throughout the day there, in the afternoon, the deadbolts start doing really weird things where it's like open, close, open, close, open, close. And then at one point it, what does it do? The door is open from the inside, logged, and then the next log is deadbolt unlocked, meaning that after some weird deadbolt stuff has been happening, then at a certain point, it displays something that's physically impossible, which is that the door was opened before it was unlocked, and then it was unlocked, which would imply, based upon, this is what other researchers, kind of gathered at the time, and I would agree, based on what I've seen of the evidence that they pulled out, is that means that you have just hacked the key card system so that you can maybe remotely be unlocking and locking these doors, or you have some sort of altered access to these rooms. And that would start to explain how the locks could be locked from the inside with no one in there, right? Because if you throw away the garbage Stephen Paddock story, you still have to explain how you wound up with 2 suites with a dead man inside with the bolts locked from the inside and no broken windows.
On either side.
Yeah, on either side. Well, actually, I believe we aren't entirely clear because we have some helicopter footage, we have some body cam footage, and we have this bullshit narrative. I believe that the window in the other suite was broken out. And I think that we have that on the helicopter footage. And I think you can kind of see it like it's a little hard to make it out, and like some of the photos taken from the ground that night, but there are some HD photos where you can kind of make out that it looks like there is kind of a broken window in the other room, but it's Paddock's room where the majority of the gunfire allegedly came from. That's where you see this police entrance where they can't find the window that's broken out and all that. So
I guess the picture that emerges is one in which the facts not only don't support the narrative, the story, but they're like completely at odds with. It's not a close call. It's not like, oh, did I see someone on the grassy knoll? I'm not sure. Let's look at the.
It's not like Butler where you have to get 10 miles deep into the reporting to be like, wait, what is with these cell phones?
This is just transparently fraudulent.
Yeah, like right in the original video evidence, you can see the helicopters in the original footage that people put out from their cell phones. You can hear in the original evidence that was all over the internet that night. You can just hear the gunfire and know that it's not ARs with bump stocks. It's just not, right? And then you can obviously hear all the testimony from all the people of all of these other things that happened that night that are complete lies. They're all made up. It's just people hearing echoes 2 hours later.
So this is why I went out to Las Vegas twice in 2017, but then just got caught up in life.
There's always more stories.
Yeah, or short attention span. I'm not making excuses, but I didn't realize that the corpus of counter evidence was so enormous. It certainly merits an FBI investigation.
Oh, it certainly does. But here's the thing: is I think they know everything that happened.
But was there ever an official FBI investigation?
No. Well, yeah. It depends on how you define it. The FBI was involved in the original investigation, and I believe that the FBI did rule on, a certain element of this, and then the LVMPD put out their own report as well, and they put out a behavioral analysis of Paddock like a year later or something like that.
And I remember two things, but the FBI signed off on the totally absurd official conclusion.
Yeah.
They did. Okay.
I believe so.
And B, his brother, I remember, got busted for kiddie porn.
Yeah, I don't actually know much about that.
I don't either, but I just, having lived in D.C. my whole life, I associate.
It was a while after the fact, right?
Yeah, and it's like a joke in Washington. The kiddie porn is disgusting, and I couldn't be more opposed to it. I hate pornography in general. But kiddie porn specifically has a reputation in D.C., not among ignorant people, but among people who pay attention, as like the hallmark of a manufacturer's story. Like, oh, he got arrested for kiddie porn, he can't talk or whatever. And as soon as I heard that, I was like,
George Zinn at
very much like
Kirk
George Zinn
assassination. So
people are laughing about that. Who I know. Oh, of course, the guy's busted for kiddie porn.
Yeah.
Of course,
shut him up. Get him away from the story.
I have no specific evidence about George Zinn or about Stephen Paddock's brother, but that is a very well-known. It's a joke. It's a cliche.
Yep. And especially when it's just so coincidental. That it's like, yeah, there are sickos out there, but is it just is it always that the brother or associated, the witness, are they always the ones? Are they the sickos?
They're always into kiddie porn, and you can't talk to them.
So it's important to be grateful for the things in your life that make your life great. The stuff that's easy to take for granted. For example, the ability to hear. If you couldn't hear, you wouldn't be listening to this right now. Or maybe you could, actually. Our friends at Audien Hearing are leading the fight to help people with hearing loss by creating affordable and effective hearing aids perfect for Americans who are struggling to hear clearly. And those of us who shot without earplugs know the feeling. Audien offers FDA-compliant hearing aids for as low as $98. No prescription, no doctor's visit required. Available at over 10,000 retailers nationwide, including Walmart and Walgreens. Over 1.5 million Americans already use Audien. It's changed their lives. No more squinting and struggling to hear as your friends and family tell you stories. You can go to a restaurant and actually have a conversation thanks to Audien. Audien is making essential healthcare affordable and accessible, doing what the system should have done all along but doesn't. Visit heartucker.com, that's HEAR Tucker.com, or call 1-800-453-2916 to learn more about how Audien can help you or someone you love hear. It makes all the difference.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.